Hello, hello, hello.
Good day, everyone. Good day.
I am Annie Adkins.
I'm Jay Adkins.
And we are in Central Ohio, and we have been in real estate for 20 years this year.
Yeah.
So we are going to talk to you in about 50 minutes or less about what not to do in real estate in the state of Ohio, because there's just as much that you cannot do as there is that you can.
Yes, we want to share with you how to not get fined or not get in trouble.
Or not have to go to real estate court if you're an agent, or all kinds of great things. How not to screw up your business before you even start it.
That's right. That's right.
So, as I said, there's just as many important things not to do as there is to do in the state of Ohio as far as real estate is concerned. And we need to let you know these bits of information so that you avoid legal issues or fines or
all of it.
All of the above, right? And it potentially could cause long-term issues for your real estate business, especially if you do it more than once and then you're on everyone's radar for doing illegal activity.
And if you have to go to court, it's very expensive because you're scared to death and you have to hire an attorney. And we have had to do this multiple times.
For multiple different reasons.
Yes.
Not always our fault, just so we're clear.
Yes, sometimes it has been and sometimes it hasn't been.
But so learn from us and our mistakes so that we save you money.
We're going to share the bad and the worst.
All right, so the main things that always pop up flags in the state of Ohio anyway are wholesaling and lease options. We do both. We have done both for many years, many years.
Yes.
And we've learned the right way to do them through a real estate attorney in the state of Ohio.
Yes.
It helps with all of the legal descriptions and the laws and the regulations. And he's been to Washington, D.C. to speak to all the government officials about it. So he's pretty up to speed, so to speak.
Yes, even the real estate board of directors for the state of Ohio, our attorney has had meetings with them just to clarify what can you do and what can you not do. Well, you can do it, but you'll get in trouble.
Right.
And you'll be fined. And some of those fines are thousands and thousands of dollars. So
and it can make or break your business, honestly, because if you are tagged as someone that does illegal things, then they will be on you and watching literally every transaction that you do
yes.
to make sure that it's done correctly. And we can't really blame them. Sorry. You can't really blame them. They want to make sure that people are doing things on the up and up and the way that they need to be done for the state.
Yeah. So wholesaling, just what is wholesaling? That is where you acquire a property with a purchase contract, and that purchase contract needs to have an assignment clause in it that just says this is assignable or assign something to that effect. That gives you the right to sell or assign that contract. You are not selling a house when you are a wholesaler. You are selling a purchase contract that is attached to a property, to a house. So I wanted to clarify that first. And also, if you are an agent and you're wholesaling, you need to make sure that, number one, your broker allows that, right, because not all brokers do. And number two, that you are disclosing that you are an agent.
On all the paperwork.
Yeah, so we put on ours that I'm an agent and I don't represent anyone.
Now, Jay, a question to you as an agent. Does the Ohio sales contract that agents use through their brokerage and through the real estate board say that it's an assignable contract?
No.
So you cannot use the contract that you would use as an agent for a purchase of a property otherwise.
Correct, unless you add an assignment addendum to that purchase contract, which some people do. which would just say the buyer and or assigns, something to that effect. So you would need to put in that purchase contract that it's assignable, and then you're good. But we still don't use that contract,
Right.
even with me being an agent and having an agent team, we don't use that contract. So we have our own contract that we use.
Now, does this contract that you have to use as an assignable contract, does it have to be like 50 pages long?
Doesn't have to be, and it should not be.
We use a one-page contract.
Yes.
Yes, that says it's an assignable contract.
Yes, or if there's a bunch of extra terms on there for some reason, sometimes you have to negotiate a lot of extra stuff that's not on there. Like an example would be the seller's going to keep the house after closing for a month, and you're going to charge them, $100 a day for rent. And if they don't get out within 4 weeks, then maybe you withhold part of their money for them to get paid all of their money before they move out. And so that, that's a lot of extra language, and that would end up making your contract probably 2 pages long with signatures.
So your takeaway from this portion of the conversation is you do not have to use the board recognized contract when writing a wholesaling contract. You do have to say that it is an assignable contract, regardless of what contract you use.
Yes, or you have no right to assign or wholesale that contract for that property. And so I see lots of mistakes, Annie and I both do, especially on Facebook, where wholesalers are assigning or they're marketing a house for sale as a wholesale.
With a specific address.
Wholesale property for sale. Here's the address with pictures.
That is a big no-no in the state of Ohio.
You're talking about major fines from the state if they catch you.
If they catch you.
So what the reason they don't like that is because they want their money from people getting licensed to be agents. So you're acting as an agent if you're posting pictures and property details and descriptions
and saying that you have a property located at 123 Main Street. That is agent activity by a non-licensed person.
Yes, you are acting as a licensed agent and you don't have a license. So don't
make
do
sure
it.
When you are oh my goodness, my brain just went totally blank. Sorry. Make sure when you are marketing a property that you have for a wholesale contract that you do not use pictures of that property, specific address of that property, and say that you have a property for sale. Those 3 things are big no-nos.
Plus, I keep hearing horror stories about other wholesalers, like wholesalers marketing their house for sale, and they have the address and pictures, and other wholesalers are just stealing it and then marketing it for sale themselves. And or they're
for rent.
skip tracing the seller and trying to negotiate a higher price with the seller and cut you out.
Or people are taking those pictures and the address and saying that this property is available for rent, which is a big scam on Craigslist and Facebook as well. So you have to be very careful on what you post pertaining to the property that you have available. Yes, you have a property that is available for wholesaling, but you do not have a property for sale. You have a contract for sale.
Yes. So when you're marketing your wholesale deals, you need to put, as an example, say it was 123 Main Street. It would be wholesale contract for sale, Main Street, Newark,
Ohio, or Columbus, Ohio,
or the city that we live in, Newark. And you could put 32, and you're putting contract for sale. All right. So you're putting that in there that that you're selling a contract. So
the other big no-no, or lots of no-nos happen in in the state of Ohio is with lease option purchases. And lease option purchases, especially if you are doing a rent to own deal on the end all of the contract as a rent to own, you cannot lease option a house and turn around and lease option it to somebody else. That's called a sandwich lease option, and that is a big no-no again in the state of Ohio. Now,
Yes.
that did not used to be the case.
No.
Several years ago, it was okay to do that, and then things changed.
Yes.
So now it is no longer okay for sandwich lease options in the state of Ohio.
Yes. The only asterisk to that is if you're just going to lease the house as a regular rental, then you can do a sandwich lease, but that's not a sandwich lease option because that tenant doesn't have an option to buy. They look at it as you're trying to sell a property that you don't own, which is not legal here if you just have an option to purchase. So you can do a lease with option to buy, and you can lease it as a regular rental, but you cannot do a lease with option to buy and then turn around and offer it as a lease option purchase
To a tenant buyer.
to a tenant buyer. So that's a no-no, and I did that, I don't know, 8 years ago maybe.
Yeah.
And I got fined $1,000 and had to go to real estate court. Part of that's because also I'm licensed, so that I was turned into the real estate board, and had to hire an attorney and do all of that non-fun stuff.
Yeah.
That nobody wants to do.
So what you can do though is do a lease option creative financing deal with a seller or tired landlord or what have you. So you basically take that property over for them, and then you can turn around and rent it to a tenant that you just keep it in your possession so that it's not a tenant buyer, which we said, but I just want to clarify that just a little bit. So there are no problems with Jay and I going to a seller and saying we can take over your house for you so that you don't have to mess with it anymore. We assume all responsibility. We assume insurance. We assume all of the things that come with this. We will continue to make your mortgage payment, and then we hold it in our inventory and rent it to somebody else.
Yes.
On a monthly basis or a yearly basis or what have you. But we cannot say, okay, well, we can turn around and we will lease option this to a tenant buyer, give us a large chunk of money, rent with the purchase option at the end of the whole deal.
Yes. Now there are ways around that now, but you're using a totally different strategy. And so some of those could be a power of attorney over that property. If you want something like that, we do more long-term strategy, and we will do either a land contract with the seller, which gives us then the legal right to market that property for sale or rent or both. And that must be recorded though at the recorder's office, or it's not valid and you're breaking law again. The other option would be to put it into a trust and
land trust.
Yeah, put the property into a trust, so then you don't own it and the previous owner doesn't own it, the trust owns it, and then there's beneficiaries to the trust
and trustees.
And so that would be dependent on what you negotiate with the seller, but normally we will leave them on as a small percentage owner until we pay their mortgage off, if there's a mortgage in place. Otherwise, we just become beneficiaries, and then our LLC or us become the trustee. And the trustee is in charge of managing the property, filling it, selling it, improving it, mortgaging it, everything.
So our main key takeaways are this: do not do anything illegal. We are not condoning illegal activity. We ask that you speak to an attorney that you are using regularly or is in your specific area, whether that's in the state of Ohio or otherwise, to make sure that all of these things are legit as far as your area is concerned, make sure that you get somebody that knows what they're talking about, because there are a lot of real estate agents out there that think they know the laws and actually don't. There are attorneys that don't really deal with real estate much that think they know the laws and they don't. Just make sure that the group of people that you work with and your team consists of investor-friendly title companies, investor-friendly agents, investor-friendly attorneys, anything and
Yes.
everybody should be investor friendly so that they are up to date on the latest laws and regulations and loopholes and all of that thing, all of
Yes.
that kind of information. And do the research yourself if you can't find those people. You can reach out to Jay and myself. If you are in the state of Ohio, we have lots of contacts that you can help, or that can help you with that.
So that pretty much just reiterates what Annie had just said. Have someone review your documents, an attorney who specializes in that area. We have different attorneys for different real estate specialties.
Yeah.
So some specialize in trusts, some specialize in evictions, some specialize in just
Closing deals.
real estate closings and the title, legal title. So make sure that you're talking to the correct attorney. And then you want to make sure that they're investor friendly. So there's some title companies that will allow you to wholesale without a real estate license, and some of them won't. So you don't want to get a house under contract, send it over to title when you get a buyer,
and go through the whole title process and find out at closing.
Yeah, or a few days before closing that they won't close it for you because you're not licensed, and now you've got to scramble, get a new title company. And sometimes if you delay closings in real estate, you lose that deal. The seller may get mad at you. Your buyer may get mad at you. Both of them may get mad at you. So just keep that in mind when you're working. Be prepared right up front and know that your title company supports wholesale deals if you are not a licensed agent. Because some of them do require, they will allow it if you have a real estate license. But again, refer back to your broker. Your broker may not allow you to do that.
Right. And then obviously Jay and I are available to help in any way, shape, or form. If you would like to learn some more, you can email us and just let us know what you are interested in. We have a coaching program that we offer that have people around the country that we teach everything we know in real estate and then some. So yeah, we do this every day. We follow the rules, we follow the regulations, we still wholesale, we still do lease options and creative financing. We have rentals, he has a retail license as mentioned. So the rules and regulations are not slowing us down at all, but we definitely need to make sure that we are on top of it as real estate investors. So
yeah, just know your craft, learn the business, and follow the rules, and realize that every state is different, and sometimes even cities are different within states. As an example, in Central Ohio, the seller pays for the title insurance for the buyer, but the seller picks the title company. Well, in Cincinnati and Cleveland, the two other opposing largest cities in Ohio, there the buyer pays title. And so again, two different strategies, two different processes within the same state. So check statewide first, and then your county level, and then check with the local city and or village.
Because if anything is constant in real estate, it's change. Cannot stress that enough. So I hope that you guys learned some things, and we will see you next month.
Yep. Have a blessed day.